The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it. All right, some sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We do it each and every day. We call it the 10-minute drill. And
an award winner.
Started off with this. Horace Grant says, Michael Jordan, you're a liar.
Said, Mike, you're the snitch.
When you do a documentary and you have it's based on one person's perception and perspective, generally, which it was, the way he remembers it versus the way others remember it may not always jibe when it happened 20 years ago. And I guarantee you could do that with any of us if you started talking about something that happened 20 years ago and I saw it one way and you saw it another way and the other person involved saw it a third way and the truth is somewhere in the middle. Clearly, Michael had made up his mind a long time ago that Horace Grant was a snitch as far as dealing with the media and Sam Smith.
Yeah, he thought Horace was the source on the Jordan rules.
Yeah. Quote, lie, lie, lie. If MJ had a grudge with me, let's settle this like men, Grant said. Let's talk about it, or we can settle it another way. But yet and still he goes out and puts the lie out that I was the source behind the book. Sam and I have always been great friends. We're still great friends, but the sanctity of that locker room, I never put anything personal out there. The mere fact that Sam Smith was an investigative reporter, that he had to have two sources, two to write a book, I guess. Why would MJ just point me out? Well, maybe you were one of them.
Yeah, but I said he had to have two sources. You're not denying that you were one.
Yeah. It's only a grudge, man. I'm telling you, it was only a grudge, and I think he proved that during the so-called documentary when if you say something about him, he's going to cut you off. He's going to try to destroy your character. Horace Grant was having none of it. He did not get near the coverage on a podcast that Michael Jordan got on the documentary. They're heretofore what Jordan said will be remembered more so than what Horace Grant has chimed in with his accusations, I suspect.
I tell you, it's funny. We complain a little bit about even a documentary with 10 episodes that you, quote, don't learn much new. Mm-hmm. But I have learned that Michael Jordan doesn't have any long-term relationships. They all fall apart.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Horace Grant and Michael Jordan hated each other. Did you?
No.
I knew about Isaiah. I had no idea that Jordan and Barkley hadn't spoken in 10 years or whatever it is.
Seems like Jordan has a little bit of that with everybody.
He kind of seems like he's going to die old and bitter and alone.
Well, that could be, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just got a very abrasive personality.
I'm glad they brought the kids in, and we heard from the kids in the last episode because it seems like they're, like they have a relationship with their dad, so that's good.
Can I squeeze a drill speed trap alert in here real quick?
Yeah, please.
We love to save you Googans out there, and we can't do it without you. We're like a community bonded together to keep some of that cash in our pockets, especially nowadays. And right now, Speed Trap chips on both sides, Ponch and John.
Oh, no.
Monitoring the Arlington Expressway. Remember that road, Dan? The Arlington Expressway right now with chips on both sides. So if you're there or anywhere around town, keep those speeds down. That's just the last thing in the world you want right now is a speeding ticket.
The NFL owners yesterday approved some new measures aimed at improving diversity in coach and front office hiring. They did not go with the draft pick compensation, which seemed a little odd when it occurred. But it's interesting as this continues on. You have to interview two minorities per. It's I guess to me that the sad part is that something is even having. I'm glad they're addressing it. They shouldn't have to address it, but. There is a need to address it.
I would just hope that my owner hires the best coach regardless of what color he is.
You would hope.
I mean, I can't imagine that that's not happening.
I can.
I think the idea is to get a bigger pool of candidates is the problem. There's not enough coordinators and position coaches that are minority to feed into the head coaching job. It's a lot harder if you're a receivers coach.
Yeah.
You're Keenan McCardell to get a head coaching job than if you're, say, Cliff Kingsbury at a college.
Well, Joe Judge is the one that probably would rankle.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Joe Judge, why?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, and again, not Eric Bieniemy. It's not fair to always say over Eric Bieniemy but Eric Bieniemy is the guy who seemed to be passed over so much so this time.
Well, and he did go to the Super Bowl, which hurt his chances. because they need to change some of
Yeah,
those
but-
rules too.
well,
which
yeah, but
they're
there's
trying
been-
to do.
yeah, but
teams
that-
don't want to wait though, Dan.
I think those are all excuses.
But
Jeff.
if
I think those are all excuses for these owners who live in.
But do you think that Bieniemy then was excluded because he's black? This process, because hasn't that
I
happened?
would say to suggest that there isn't racism among this particular set of owners would be foolish.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah. I just don't know. I know that.
I mean,
it's happened to other
with all
coordinators
due
though
respect
in the
to
postseason.
To the late Bob McNair, the comments that he made that one time sort of echo. I don't. Something. I think there's enough coaches out there who are black that can be getting pushed up here that it's not. I don't see it. I don't know. I just.
I
feel
don't.
like it's happening.
I haven't really thought about it in those
Yeah.
terms. I really think about it when the Rooney Rule comes along. But maybe I'm just guilty of it at this point. I don't. When you read off on the news 5 head coaching candidates for the Jags or
Yeah.
anyone, I don't go on my line and go, oh, black guy, white guy, white guy, black. I just
No.
don't. So the NFL, in order to I will stand by, needs to pump up the pond of a field of candidates.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, you're right. Joe Judge from special teams coach to head coach. But it's also a move, though, that a Super Bowl winning coach made and has proven to be one of the best coaches in the league. John Harbaugh.
Yeah, we can't always go to John Harbaugh because he was a special teams coach and he's been successful.
Well, you've
I'm sure
mentioned
there's
one, though. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been others that
I hate breaking down the success and failure along color lines, and eventually this discussion leads there. I want the best football mind.
Yeah, I would
And,
agree.
and if you're an owner that's not doing that, you're ignorant. You're an idiot. Now, at the same time, you can't always just suggest and affirm that a coach hired a guy because he's this or that. That's not fair to that side either.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't know. And again, I do think it's some. Like I said, I'm glad it's being addressed, and it needs to be addressed, and there needs to be some, but it's in a way sad that it's being addressed because it shouldn't have to be addressed, I guess is what I'm saying, but it is. It clearly is. I mean, there just hasn't been that many hires of black coaches in the last few waves. Have there?
Not that I recall.
I mean, I like to slam Ron Rivera in the minority category, I guess.
Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah. Matt Rule comes out,
The
7 years, $60 million.
Yeah. But Matt Rule got the job because of how successful he's been as a football coach, I guess. Can't lose. I don't want to lose sight of that part of it.
Yeah.
To diminish anybody who gets the NFL coaching job. I'm sure they've had a hell of a career and done a lot to get notice at that point.
It's another good one if you wanted to argue back and forth on it would be Caldwell, Jim Caldwell.
What about him?
Why didn't he ever? He had success. Never got another shot.
I thought he
Right? He won a Super Bowl, didn't he? Or went to a Super
lost
Bowl?
lost his Super Bowl.
Went to a Super Bowl?
He lost to the Saints.
Yeah.
Tony Dungy was the first African American to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Jim Caldwell went 14-2 and 10-6 in his 2 years, and then he went 2-14 and out he goes.
Yeah.
And he goes to
He's
Detroit.
been a coordinator. Was he head coach at Detroit, right?
Yeah. 11-5.
So he did get another one.
7-9, 9-7, 9-7. Fired. How they've done since?
I don't know.
Lost 2 playoff games. I don't know. It's just it's interesting, and it's certainly there needs to be.
I just don't know.
more discussion
I'm
about
for the
it.
life of me. I just I guess I just don't. I can't grasp this story. It seems so stupid to me. Not to take these things. I can't imagine in today's day and age that you're going to base your coaching decision. You're going to hire an inferiorly talented or qualified guy of one color over a guy who's another color who's better. That doesn't extend any, to the playing field. Why would it extend to the coaching?
Come on, man. Don't be naive.
Well, in what way?
I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I think
Well, I don't know what's naive. 30 years ago, you didn't see any African-American quarterbacks, Dan, and that was proven wrong. That's not naive. That's factual racial history in this country.
Right.
30 years ago, you
Right.
had
So if there were African-American coaches, as many African-American coaches as
Correct.
there were, then you'd be proven wrong again, of course.
Proven wrong on what? I would be proven wrong?
No.
Oh, people.
There shouldn't be black
I
quarterbacks.
just thought, but I guess I don't know if people. Is that the thought? Is that the prevailing thought that's keeping African Americans from getting head coaching jobs in the NFL? I guess that's the question.
What the prevailing
that they're not capable. What else is there? What is the other reason? There is no other reason. I mean, we're going to have this conversation. We can't tiptoe around the semantics
I
of it.
didn't tiptoe.
No, not
I
you.
sat there and said,
not you.
What I said about the owners. I believe there is racism amongst the owners.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
All right. And there might be.
Yeah.
And then shame on. Too bad for those fans.
I mean,
if you're passing over a better coach,
elitist white world that they live in, right? I mean, is that? I mean,
maybe. I guess I don't know. I don't live in that world either. So it's hard. We're talking about an elitist white world. And we have a Pakistani owner, so I don't.
We do.
You know
we
what
have
I mean?
one. We have Shah Khan.
That's our owner here.
Yeah.
He could have hired Eric Bieniemy this offseason.
Yeah.
He's staying with Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
So there's just so many straws in that drink, I guess, and to just definitively state what's happening and what's not, and what people think and what they don't. I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, that was fun.
You got to discuss it, and it's hard because we're two white guys sitting here talking about it. So we don't know. From a black perspective, we can't add how it is. So
and a football perspective,
yeah. Well, football we can. Speaking, Michael Wilbon likes to be. I kind of get the feeling Michael Wilbon likes to be like everybody's friend. But he made a comment yesterday that Scottie Pippen had twice as many rings as LeBron.
Yeah,
I guess they were talking about LeBron being. Listen,
well, that storyline came up
because LeBron said he'd be a great
LeBron
teammate at Jordan.
Right? Yeah. LeBron kind of started that.
But I mean, I'd rather have LeBron James and Scottie Pippen, and if I had LeBron James and Michael Jordan, I think they would have won all six easy. Just as easy at least.
That's like saying Robert.
I'm not trying to take away from Scottie Pippen, but my general line of thinking hasn't changed about Scottie Pippen, who I think I've never seen a Robin get so much credit, and top 50 player of all time, second best player in the NBA at the time. I disagree with all that. I mean, not that he's not top 50 is fine, but great player, yeah. You want to put him in the Hall of Fame, sure, but I never saw. I thought he gets a ton of credit for. And it's not fair to say ride the coattails of MJ because without him, they probably wouldn't have won. They wouldn't.
They wouldn't have. I don't think there's probably.
But if you had any of those other players at that time, I think they would have. And I think LeBron's the kind of guy who would fit well with Michael Jordan because he doesn't have to score 38 a game. He would have fed the ball to MJ all day, bro.
Well, and in fairness, that's the same story with Pippen.
Yeah. You think Pippen's as good as LeBron?
No. But I'm saying he didn't have to score 30 points a game either.
No, right.
So that was the reason Pippen worked is because of his personality.
Yeah.
He's kind of a shyer guy. I mean, it plays back to his college career where he went to Central Arkansas as like a 6'3" guy without a whole lot of promise, and by the time he came out, he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Who knows? There've been I think in some ways Pippen gets more scrutinized. I mean, there have been plenty of teams that had 2 stars. We don't downgrade one to lift the other or vice versa.
Right.
I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played with Oscar Robertson. Did Oscar Robertson have to ride Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to finally win a title? You know what I'm saying? That's just out of our era, so you don't think of it in those terms as much.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, well, our cup runneth over. It's a CPR Contracting Wednesday here on The Drill. We still have to come today. We'll see what's trending. We still have brunch with a tour coming up at the bottom of this hour.
It is brunch, and it's almost a tour.
Well,
it's coming.
It's kind of tour-y, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tour was at least involved last weekend, and we got more golf coming up this weekend. And then before you know it, we'll be at Colonial. So all that and more as we roll on a CPR Contracting Wednesday.